My name is Gary, also known as the Solar Bus Guy. He calls me the Solar Guru. I'm just the Solar Bus Guy. And we're from Vermont. We came all the way down here just to power that stage. And that one stage on the left is all being powered by, not really this bus, but the solar panels that are on the roof. And what I'm going to do, what I like to do with the bus, instead of just like telling people about stuff, I like to show people. And I find this a really good way to teach people is to show people instead of just talking about it or reading a book about it. And that's why we have this bus here. So it all starts with the solar panels. And just really quickly, a little factoid to stuff away in your cobwebs of your mind. Every 10 minutes, the sun sends us enough energy to create all of the electricity that the entire planet uses in one whole year. Believe it or not, it's actually true. It's on the Department of Energy website. You can look it up. And it would only take a square approximately 90 miles on each side. If you can think of a city that's maybe 2 hours away, that's about 90 miles. Draw a line that long and make a square out of that. Cover it with the exact same solar panels that we have on this roof, and that would make all the electricity that our country uses. If it was in a sunny state like Arizona or something like that. Now we wouldn't want to do just one big array like that. We want to have a bunch of little ones, but that's just a frame of reference to show you the possibilities of solar energy. And if we just, utilize more of this, all this energy that's coming at us all the time, we could be energy independent. We could be, not creating greenhouse gases and all that kind of stuff. So how does it work? It all starts with the solar panels. And solar panels are made from sand. They're actually, if you're familiar with computer chips, they melt sand and they grow crystals from the sand and then they slice the crystals. And it's the very same thing the solar panels are made from. If you look at one close up, it's kind of hard from here, but you see a bunch of cells. You've probably seen pictures of them. All of those square cells or round cells are slices of crystals that are grown from silicon, which is melted sand. It's one of the most abundant things on this planet. So it starts with the solar panels, and you can see the sun is down now, but we still have people are playing music, and the volume isn't going down or anything like that, and that's because we have batteries on the bus, and the solar panels have been charging up the batteries all day long while we were driving down from Vermont, and they were all nice and full when we got here. And we're going to play all the way till 11 o'clock, and we're hopefully not going to run out of juice. I don't think we are. So these panels, each one of these panels produces about 85 watts when the sun is shining in full sun. And so you can think of, like a 75 watt light bulb doesn't seem like very much, but if you think about like those new compact fluorescent light bulbs that produce the same amount of light as like a 75 watt light bulb, that would be like 3 or 4 of them. And what happens is, so you take all those 85 watts and add them together, and there's 4 of them, so that's maybe a little bit less than 400 watts, like maybe 350 watts. But guess what? The stage is using more than 350 watts. How can the stage use more than 350 watts when these solar panels only put out 350 watts? The batteries store the energy, and once the energy is in there, we can use more energy than the panels actually put out. Because it's like you're putting in, if you put a penny in your bank account every single day, eventually you're going to have like hundreds of dollars, and you could take out $50. It's the exact same thing. So without any further ado, we should probably break it in thirds or halves. We can just, I'll walk in there and you can pile in until nobody else can fit. I'll do a really quick run through. We'll take a look at the batteries, and then I'll ask you to move out so the next crew can come in. And if anyone has any questions, just chime in, raise your hand or whatever.
Gosh, this little screen is so small.
So we're going to be focusing right around here, but we can, have people come all the way back to here, and you can still see what I'm talking about. So
I'm liking this place, man.
It gets a little warm in here. We don't have air conditioning. Air conditioners take a lot of electricity, so our air conditioning is called rolling down the windows. So as you walk by, you can see there's these batteries here.
Yeah.
These are actually golf cart batteries. If you've ever ridden on an electric golf cart, these are the exact same batteries that are used in electric golf carts. Not all the time. Just when we're on the road. I have a house and a wife and kids. Sometimes they come along, but this time we have a crew of 5 students from a college up in Vermont who just wanted to come.
Neat.
So these batteries right here, don't look like, you know, too much, but actually they're going to power that stage from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 6 hours of music, and there's still going to be some juice left over. And they were full when we got here. And so the rest of the system is, see this white little, well actually, the solar panels are on the roof. You can see the wires coming in through that vent. I just cut a little hole there, and there's this black and white wires, and they come in right towards the batteries. Right before they go into the batteries, they go through this white box here, right there. You can see it says charge controller. And what that does is it makes sure that the batteries don't get overcharged. Because if the batteries are full, they're just like a box that can only hold a certain amount of energy. And if you keep on putting more and more energy in there when they're full, they actually get damaged. So the charge controller basically keeps an eye on the batteries, and when they're full, it disconnects the solar panels. And that happens actually a lot. The solar panels are up there and they could be making power, but they're disconnected and they're doing nothing because the batteries are full. And if we didn't have that charge controller, we would have to get new batteries all the time because they would get damaged. So the batteries store the energy from the panels, and all of that energy is what we call DC energy. It's basically what they call, like, you know, it's direct current, or it's the type of energy that's basically in batteries usually. And that's not the same kind of energy that we get when we plug in the wall and we plug in our television or computer or hairdryer or whatever it is. That's called AC energy, or alternating current. So this little, or kind of big doohickey behind the glass there, is called an inverter. And all an inverter is basically it just converts the power from DC energy into AC energy. And I got a really nice one that puts out a really clean power because I knew I wanted to do sound and stages and stuff like that. And when you go back out there, have a listen, see if you hear any buzzes or anything like that. I actually noticed a little buzz in the other stage. And maybe it was just me, but I didn't hear any buzz in the solar stage. You can tell me if you agree. That's really the guts of the system, and all of those components are the same thing. That, like, there's, you know, people running their whole house off of this exact same type of system, but maybe they would have more solar panels and more batteries, and actually that inverter would run most households. And the inverter basically can take the energy out of the batteries and give us regular household current up to 2,500 watts. So even though those panels only put out 350 watts, we can use up to 2,500 watts at a time. That's a lot of power. The other two things are the monitors, and they just basically tell us how much energy we're using or how much energy is coming in from the panels, and it helps us keep an eye on the system. It's kind of like the dashboard on your car. You know, you wouldn't want to drive without having a gas gauge and a fuel gauge and a speedometer and all that kind of stuff. So the monitor tells us what's going on with the system, and so we can, you know, make sure that there's still some juice left and things like that. Does anybody have any questions? No questions.
When did you first start
The
doing all
bus
this?
or doing
Yeah.
solar stuff?
doing the bus?
I got the bus in 2003,
Okay.
so it's been 6 or 7 years.
How long do the batteries last?
I mean, like per charge, or how long until I'm going to have to buy new batteries? The batteries are the one component that they don't really last. Everything else, well, the solar panels, they don't degrade. There's no moving parts, and we say that they're a lifetime investment. Like, they last basically forever. Those panels are still going to be putting out power. Hopefully, I'm going to be 80 years old someday, and I'll be using them for something. The inverter is something, you know, it's an electronic thing like a television. You know, they typically last like 20 years or something like that. The batteries are the one thing that don't last, 20 years or more. But those batteries will last 8 to 10 years if you treat them well. And they're not, people think, that the batteries are the one like sore thumb of solar energy, and we're waiting for batteries to get better or something. But really, the batteries are not the most expensive part. Still, the solar panels are the most expensive part. And even if I replace those every 8 to 10 years, it's not a significant amount of money compared to like how much the solar panels and stuff like that cost.
Like, what estimated was the initial cost of everything?
This whole system right here, people ask me that all the time, and I always forget. For me, the panels were actually donated by the manufacturer because they were supporting our educational efforts. And thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I got to get back there too because I'm running that stage.
Oh yeah.
Her son is going to play is in the next band on the solar stage, so we can't stay here too long. But wait, what was your question? How much did it cost? A system like this might cost like $5,000, $6,000, maybe $7,000. Did we get everybody on here, or there's still more people that want to come on?
No, I think we're
Everybody got a happy face?
I got it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
All right.